Welcome to Royalston Wildlife Chronicles, A Kill in the Village Part 2. In the second part of this special, you will see another amazing sighting. Normally we would have brought it to you sooner, but the Caracal special beat it. Anyway, we left off on the Wednesday afternoon after 3.5 days worth of footage. Was it the end? Did they come back? Surely by now the meat was going off. The books say a caracal will typically feed off a carcass for 2 to 3 days, returning to the carcass until the meat is finished or scavengers take over. On Sunday morning, a caracal mom took down an adult Impala Ram on the front lawn of a resident. We have established, through security camera footage of another resident, that this happened before 7:15 a.m. The caracal came back but was disturbed. At midday, Valence and I carried the carcass across the road onto a vacant plot that had a nice incline, which would mean it was not visible from the road. At 1:27, the mom returned and examined the carcass. This happened a number of times during the afternoon. At 10:17, mom brought her kitten to the carcass to feed. For 3 further days, we had special footage, such as the covering of the carcass with grass, the kitten playing with the camera, them sleeping at the carcass, and the many excursions beyond the camera to where we don't know. So did they come back on Wednesday evening? The answer is yes. At 6:05, mom was back. She walked past the camera, and then at 6:07, the kitten came bounding past the camera from the road. Where had she come from? Must have snuck past the camera because at 6:09, mom returned. Mom and kitten were behind the mound of grass, so we are uncertain whether they were eating. They kept on going up and down past the camera. In hindsight, we should have probably put up a second camera, but it does add to the mystique, not knowing where they were going. Mom had obviously eaten as she licked her lips and groomed herself. As it was only 6:56, had someone walked past and spooked them. Mom, that's my toy. Looks like the kitten was eating. Mom eating again. The books say that the human scent or touch on a carcass might make a wild caracal suspicious or hesitant. As was seen, our caracal mom and kitten have grown up within the village, are obviously used to human noise and scent, and had no problem. The interaction with the camera, which would have been laden with my scent, also showed this. The loss of wariness of human scent is never a good sign, but these animals have nonetheless shown wariness of humans, always choosing to run away. The fact that they are living amongst us, yet people don't see them, is a good sign. It just means that residents must be vigilant, but they need to be vigilant anyway, as there are other animals that also have the potential to be dangerous. Hello, my old friend. Covering up again. From what I can tell, they were just beyond the camera, as I got quite a bit of footage of tails, feet and brief appearances. Then at 1:51 they disappeared towards the forest. Only to be back at 3:35 when they ate. Up and down again. They were still around after 6. After 7 and they cover up again and move off to the forest. At 10 I changed the card. It had now been 4 days since the kill. At 4:16 in the afternoon, Mom came back to check everything was still okay. Both were back at 4:55. They were back after 9 and off again. While we watch Mom and Kitten go about their business, it is a good time to talk about Caracal and their territories. We believe there are 3 females and 1 male that have Royalston as their territory. The one female's territory is down by the lake and extends into the properties on the other side of the lake. We have seen this female and during a period her kitten in previous episodes of Royalston Wildlife Chronicles. The second female definitely includes the nature reserve within her territory. The third one, who these specials have featured, we believe is the daughter of the nature reserve female. We saw footage of a young caracal in our very first episode, the introduction to Royalston Wildlife Chronicles, at the top of Giraffe Hill. We also saw her close to my house during an animal count. We wondered whether she was trying to set up a territory in the forest between the villages. Mother cats often give up parts of their territory on their boundary to young females they have kicked out. We were even more convinced a few months ago when she was caught on a camera in the backyard of a resident in Village 4. Then another resident of Village 4 saw 2 kittens. We believe the male services all these females. There's a possibility of a 4th female who has a very small part of Village 5 and the adjacent properties as her territory. And then it was after 7 in the morning and an especially busy time on Royalston. It still amazes me that they were wandering about but no one saw them. More surprising is that this is now day 5. At 8:24 I went to change the card and noticed that the carcass had been dragged further down the hill. It was time to move the camera. For those of you who are squeamish, please look away. Here was the main reason I had not expected caracal footage. The carcass was crawling with flies and maggots, and there wasn't much left. I thought that's the end of the caracal footage. Let's hope for bush pig footage. Okay, you can look back, and as you can see, look who came back at 4:37. And she dragged the carcass a little further down. Two minutes later, and the kitten is eating on the carcass. The books talk about Caracal only eating fresh meat. This certainly wouldn't be classified as fresh. $5.42 and they were off. At 5:55, Mom comes back and passes the camera to the road. And 4 minutes later, back down. $8.42 and back up past the camera. $8.46, both of them back down. This would be the last time that we saw them around the kill. The carcass was now well and truly finished. 5.5 days of amazing footage. All the Caracal footage over both episodes has certainly changed my beliefs and opinions on Caracals. We have seen footage that contradicts what most books say. We do have to understand that this mom and her kitten are living in the forest in the village, so have probably adapted their behavior in order to survive and thrive. The following footage would normally have made it into its own special. The Springbok had died from what we think was a tick-related disease. On that Saturday, Valence dragged it a couple of 100 meters from where it died to near the old nursery, which is close to the offices and the residential area. We quickly set up a camera. Monday being our normal card swapping day, we went and saw something had eaten it. So what was it? Gentlemen, you might want to look away for a moment. We were thrilled when we saw these two honey badgers tucking in. It had taken them less than a day to discover this carcass. They had found it just after 4:30 on Sunday morning. They had to have found it because they had been patrolling in the vicinity. Notice how the one honey badger first goes for the rump, just like the Caracal had done. The thin and soft skin provides an easy entrance point. This gives access to high-calorie organs and meat. At 7:56 they were back again and tucking in. Look at the strength as it easily turns the Springbok around. A honey badger weighs between 5 to 16 kilograms. A Springbok ram weighs between 30 to 50 kilograms. $5:44 in the evening and they were back. Where had they been resting up? Had they been in the forest between the village 4 and the offices? Honey badgers are strictly solitary animals that spend most of their lives alone. The only time you see them together is a female with her dependent young, which stay by her side for up to 14 to 18 months. The only other time is when a male is courting and breeding with a female. And lift that leg, 1, 2. Monday afternoon and they were back again at 5:42. Honey badgers roll on carcasses in order to mask their own scent from larger predators or prey, or to aggressively claim the food source from other scavengers. Not certain what is happening here. If you have any idea, please post in the comment section. $5:47 and they're off into the bush. At 10:57 they were back again. At 2:56 on Tuesday morning, they were back. Honey badgers stick their tails straight up in the air as a visual threat display to intimidate rivals, signal dominance, or warn predators to back off. Not certain whether it was unhappy with the camera's light. Take into account that my scent would also be on the camera. At 3:06 they were off. At 7:24 they were back, and again at 7:47. When we went back the following Monday to swap cars, the carcass had disappeared and we couldn't find it in the nearby vicinity. Sadly, we can't tell you what happened, as an animal disturbed the camera and a corrupt video had been the end of our footage. Still, we had captured some amazing footage.